Yeah, just going through the papers here in the truck, which needs cleaned out. Make sure I have the right one of these. Wednesday here, I got to go to a spray class to be able to renew this. I mean, it's good for another till next year. But here in Pennsylvania, you have to have a license to buy spray chemicals to be able to spray pesticides, herbicides, and stuff. And it renews every 3 years. And you got to get what's called 6 category and 6 core credits. Now, I don't know if every state, I'm pretty sure, has some sort of program like this, what the requirements are and stuff. I don't know. I mean, every state's probably a little bit different, but here in Pennsylvania, you got to get 6 category and 6 core credits to renew your license. And like I say, it renews every 3 years. So, usually February, March, there's a bunch of classes around. I mean, it's usually a 2-hour class. And what it breaks down to is they usually have 1 hour that covers the category and 1 hour that covers the core. I'm not sure exactly which one is, but usually like one of them, they go over new products, different things that are out there, the new labeled directions and stuff on products, and that usually covers one of them categories. And the other one is usually the application side. You know, they refresh your memory how to calibrate sprayers and different technologies and stuff are out there. And usually each half counts as 2 credits. One is the 2 category and one's 2 core. And, you know, they have stuff during the summer here too. You can go to like a field day. Some of them will set up, you know, you can go see different varieties of corn. And that might be like the two you might can get 2 credits for the category. You know, whichever one that covers. So basically, like I say, the local feed mill, they have a class every year. And you get 2 credits. So basically, you go to their class every year. You get 2 credits. By the time your license is renewed, you got what you need. Now, they say there's several agronomy centers and stuff around, and so some guys, you know, their license might renew this year. You know, they send in the money, you renew their license, and the next year they'll go to 3 classes in 1 month. Get their 6 category, and then you don't have to worry about it. So, I mean, there's a lot of flexibility in how you can do it. Now, offhand, I can't remember if it's $10 or $15 for the renewal. I think it's $15. I just renewed it last year, or 2 years ago, actually. But anyway, what that money does is, here, at least here in Pennsylvania, they have it helps fund a program called Chem Sweep. And I think it's like on a 5-year rotation. They go to certain counties over the year, every year. And when they come to your county, you'll get a form. And if there are any chemicals that you want to get rid of, I mean, if you have some stuff that's been sitting in the shed there for 15 years and it's dried out and gunky, you know, and you don't know what to do with it, you fill it out on this form. All you got to do is tell them the active ingredient in it, what size container it is, if the container's leaking or not, or damaged, you know, if it's labeled and all this. There's a little bit of form, and they haul it out for nothing. They'll schedule a day to come and get it. I mean, I've heard of guys getting rid of stuff from the 40s like DDT and paraquat and a lot of this other really hazardous stuff. And like I say, they'll clean it up for nothing. That helps fund that program. I mean, I've had stuff taken away before. You know, stuff's been sitting here for 10, 15 years. I know you're not going to be able to mix it again, or it's weak, doesn't have the potency it used to have. So you just get rid of it. But what I got thinking about when I'm looking at this license, you hear all this stuff now about Roundup. All these lawsuits, people getting cancer from Roundup. Yeah, I kind of have a little problem with that. I mean, any chemical, bound to get cancer from it. I mean, it's inevitable. Everybody reacts to something different, But I got thinking here, if Roundup is so hazardous, then why can you buy it without a license? There's very few things I need a license to buy. Now, I don't know what all the chemicals are out there anymore, because I pretty much stay the same thing. The only reason I have a license is because I spray atrazine on corn. That's one of the chemicals I need a license to buy. Everything else I buy, Roundup, MCPA, 2,4-D, don't need a license to buy any of them. And you don't need a license to spray it. All you need is that license to buy it. I can have anybody go out here and spray for me. All I got to be is within a reasonable distance. If there's a problem, that I can be there to supervise or, help contain the problem. They roll the sprayer over or something. And, but like I said, you don't need a license to spray it. And like I said, and then the farmers are going to be the ones getting the blame for all this because we spray Roundup. But I'm going to tell a little story. I have a relative that bought a house. He's married to my cousin. I know he's a millionaire. He's got money. He had a big fancy house. For some reason, they wanted to move out in the country, so they bought a piece of property off another relative, and they built a house. And of course, it's nothing simple. It was just a double wide, but it's one of these high-end double wides that they actually load onto a trailer. It's not one that they build on a trailer. They load it on a trailer, brought it out, set it on the foundation. He had half-cut cedar logs for siding. Everything was all high-end in this house. And when he needed a truck, I don't know if anybody remembers, but Lincoln used to build a pickup truck. He was one of the ones that bought a Lincoln pickup truck to haul mulch and stuff when he was working in his yard. So he moves out here, and at the time we were both on a dirt road. And he was one of the few that had a blacktop driveway on a dirt road. And like I say, he didn't like getting his vehicle dirty. So he eventually got the township to tar and chip the roads and all this, which over time they were doing anyhow, but he got them to do it sooner. But anyway, he had his driveway. And it came down, and he had this rock at the end of the driveway on both sides curving out. And he had these beds of mulch off the side of the rocks. Nothing planted in it. He had no flowers or shrubs or anything, but he had these pads of mulch there. And I drove by there one day, and he's out there with his little subcompact Kubota tractor and his little trailer, and he had all these jugs on the back of it and water cans and stuff. And I'm stopped and talked to him, and he's a nice guy. We don't share much in common, but I stopped and neighborly talking to him. And he was taking this water can, and then he'd pour water in it. And you can go to Tractor Supply and stuff, buy the Roundup in the 1-quart jugs. He'd empty, I'd have part of a jug there, he dumped it in that can. And then he'd go over to one of these mulch beds, and he'd pour that can out over the mulch bed. Then he'd go back, put more water in the can, dump some more Roundup in it, and then he'd go pour some more on the mulch bed. He did this like 2 or 3 times. And I says to him, I said, that's not going to do any good. I said, Roundup is a contact herbicide. It only kills what's green and actively growing. It's not going to stop anything from growing. But I don't want no weeds in here. And like I said, I tried to explain it to him. Now, most people know putting mulch down is what helps suppress the weeds, so you don't have weeds growing there. But you couldn't reason with the guy. And like I say, I told him 2 or 3 times, but I don't want no weeds. And he emptied like 2 or 3 part of these cans, and he was getting ready to go to town to get some more Roundup. So I'm all right, you don't want to listen to me? Fine. So I left. I found it extremely funny when about 2 weeks later I drive by there, and on the low side of his driveway, I see these brown streaks going through his grass in the yard. I thought it was so hilarious. He had put so much stuff on there that leached out of that mulch into his yard and killed these streaks down in his yard. So I say, that's what gets me. The farmers are going to get blamed for it. I mean, he put as much on these 2. I mean, I don't think the areas were half the size of my area of my truck bed. He probably put as much product in them 2 areas as I do on an 1.5 acres, 2 acres of ground. And like I said, and it's the same way with landscapers. You know, they're not metering anything out. They fill a hand sprayer and they're going out spraying it. I mean, it's the same way with me when I'm spraying fence rows and stuff. I got a spot sprayer on the back of the tractor or 4-wheeler, and, you know, and I can shoot it out there, and, you know, I soak everything down pretty good, especially to get to a multiflower rose bush or something. But like I say, they're the ones that end up using a lot more product than farmers. I mean, farmers are poor enough; they don't want to spend any more than they have to. They try to not use any more than they have to. So. But like I say, I thought I'd just share that a little bit and tell that little story. And say I got go and get that taken care of this week. Yeah, so just make sure I had the right license. I mean, you know, you throw stuff in your wallet, and I might have 2 or 3 licenses in there, and one day you go through or clean it out, and I want to make sure I don't throw the wrong one away. Which usually ain't a problem. You know, somewhere I got that number. All you gotta do is give them that tag number. And say nowadays, you used to have to sign a paper and just give them your number. So as long as you knew what your number was. But now they got the barcodes on there, so they just scan these, and it's all instantaneous. I remember they wised up there years ago too. They don't get your license information until at least starting the second half of the meeting, because a lot of guys would sign the papers and then go to the bathroom and never show back up. But so I just thought I'd share that little thought. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you later.